Western students and faculty took part in an hour-long walk against Islamophobia and racism on campus this afternoon.
2, 4, 6, 8, stop the violence, stop the hate.
The group walked from UC Hill with signs of support. The event was organized by members of the Society of Graduate Students.
To have this walk around the campus to find more undergrads, staff members, admins, faculty, basically everyone, to create more awareness on racism and Islamophobia and why it's important.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Islamophobia got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Islamophobia got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Islamophobia got to go. Hey, hey.
Students at Western University there taking a stand against racism in London. They held the first ever Shalwar Kameez walk today. Shalwar Kameez refers to the loose clothing that many Muslims wear. The walk was partially motivated by the June 6th killing of the Afzaal family in London. Police say the family were out for an evening walk and were targets of a hate crime. Here are two speakers at that event. The first voice you'll hear is Dr. Fatima Jackson-Best, a public health researcher who specializes in mental health and whose work focuses on communities in Canada and the Caribbean.
So one of the ways that we can see or that we can visualize and understand the way that anti-Black Islamophobia shows up is unfortunately through violence. So if you have been paying attention to news that's been coming out from Alberta, we've seen an uptick of Islamophobic instances that have targeted young Black women, specifically young Somali Black women in the province, in Edmonton and in Calgary. So these women have been being assaulted in public places, verbally accosted, and simply made to feel unsafe because they are visibly both Muslim and Black. So a lot of these women are wearing hijabs, and we know that when it comes to gender, Muslim women are the main people who are receiving Islamophobia because we basically wear our faith on our bodies, right? So we become prime targets and also, unfortunately, easy targets because we know that violence against women of all backgrounds, all religions is very rampant.
To our Muslim brothers and sisters here on campus and beyond, I say to you, know that we stand with you today, every day, in saying no to Islamophobia. The hate and fear directed towards you must end now. I also say to you, this is not your problem. You did not create Islamophobia. You did not create hate. To the contrary, you have contributed to the beautiful fabric of our community. I repeat, as a community, as your neighbors, we have not said loud enough.
No more Islamophobia.
How can a voice be heard if we all keep silent? Yes, first step is speaking up and raising the issue, but the second significantly important step is society's attention and support.
So, what we need right now is more than what politicians are willing to offer. We don't just need your condolences. We don't just need your sympathies. We need your action, and we need it to be inclusive for all Muslims. We need the Our London Family Act to be passed by the Ontario government. We need improved education on Islamophobia for students. We need to dismantle white supremacist groups in the province. We need provincial hate crime accountability units, and we need more diversity in the public service. These are tangible things our leaders can do, and we need to push them to do so.
We lost 4 beautiful souls on that day. Afzaal-Salman was one of those 4. She was doing her PhD here at Western in civil and environmental engineering. And because she was part of our community, it made things a lot more personal for us and a lot more difficult for us. I believe it's important to follow, and I think we are doing this, follow Madiha's footsteps. The approach is to fight with love, kindness, and support within our community. we stand with our Muslim sisters and brothers. We stand with indigenous peoples. We stand against any violence, gender-based violence, bigotry, hatred.
I want to invite you to think with me of 150,000 First Nation, Inuit, and Métis children who were forced to attend residential schools not very long ago, from 1800s to about 1990s. They were separated from their families, forbidden from speaking their own language and practicing their cultures, and mistreated and abused regularly. As a result, thousands and thousands of innocent indigenous children died in those schools, far from their home, far from their family. Just this year, over 1,000 unmarked mass graves were uncovered, and more is to be found. And I want us to remember, we shall remember, colonialism and white supremacy want us to forget the genocide, the trauma, the harm, but we will remember. And I believe that this land will also remember with us every drop of blood and every drop of tear that has fallen on this ground because of oppression, racism, and colonialism. Today, not only I'm mourning with you the loss of such beautiful people like the Afzaal-Salman family, but I'm also celebrating you all. I'm celebrating us standing together and walking in solidarity.
We, our London family, are gathered here today to make our voices heard and our stories known. Today, we'll walk with our invaluable allies in solidarity and without fear. Welcome all to our first Shalwar Kameez walk. One of our 4 organizers for this event, Olivia Ghosh-Swaby, could not make it today. I would like to share a few words that she put together for today. My name is Olivia Ghosh-Swaby, and I am a co-organizer and representative from the Schulich Council on Reforming EDI for Trainees. When the attack and murder of the Afzaal family took place on June 6th, I was approached by a friend about helping to organize and host this event. My only thought was yes. Fear to wear cultural or faith-based clothing should never be a worry of my peers and their families, myself included as someone from South Asian background. Acknowledgement and solidarity from the community and student leaders in times of harm, as well as all year round, needs to be active, overt, and unified. That's what this event brings.
You know, they provide us support, and we needed that. There's no way we could have done this without all of you. Thank you all, and if there's any trash around, we want to make sure that our campus is clean. Shout out to our sustainability committee as well, and many more events. And see you all in some more events, and we must, as all the speakers mentioned, make sure that this transforms into action. And now is the time. Thank you all.
Rubina Malik, a graduate student at Western and one of the organizers of the event, and she's on the line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Why did you decide to hold this walk today?
Yeah, so it was largely influenced by the horrific events of June 6th that took place here in London. But as I mentioned sort of in my speech earlier, the building blocks for this were really there, right? So as you heard from Dr. Fatima Jackson-Best in the